Alright you guys, so we are here on Wilcom Hatch Digitizer. This is what the software should look like when you first open it up. As you can see, I am rotating my mouse in circles. I will do this periodically and occasionally throughout the course, so that way you always know where I am and where I'm clicking. So first things first, let's go ahead and look at over here on the right hand side. This is the design library. So when you first open up Wilcom Hatch, you will see the design library. And if you scroll through it, it will show you all of the free embroidery files that Wilcom Hatch already has to offer. So you can always go through here. If you see something that you would like and would like to embroider it, you can always save it onto your USB drive and load it up to your embroidery machine. And with that being said, let's go ahead and exit out this design library by clicking the X right here in this design library tab. All right, so now we got just a blank screen for the moment, but what we want to do is come up here to the left hand side and we want to click on the new blank design. All right, so as you can see, our screen turned a slightly darker gray. This is our workspace area. This entire area in here is just for our workspace. As you can see, it is named Design 1. We can always change the name later. Also, you will see that there are these ruler marks on the top and left-hand side of your design space. If you would like to change the metrics of your ruler, you can simply come right over here where my mouse is rotating. Right here where it says US, go ahead and click the drop-down icon and you can change that to metrics if you would like to use metrics. But I'm used to digitizing in the US standard method, so I'm just going to keep it with using inches. Now that we're in Wilcom Hatch Digitizer, let's go ahead and go over the basic and most common tools that you as absolute beginners will be using throughout this course. Starting off on the left hand side, we got our toolboxes. You can see right here it says toolboxes. The toolboxes contains all the necessary tools for creating embroidery. In the toolboxes section, it gives you a bunch of different options that we can go through. But for this course, for absolute beginners, what we're mainly going to be focusing on is this right here, Digitize. Not only are we going to focus on this section right here, the Digitize section, we're also going to look at the Applique section, the Create Layout section, and back up, we will be looking at the Edit Objects section. Now coming here towards the center of the top of the menu where my mouse is circling. Another thing we will be using often is our True View. The True View button definitely comes in handy when we start making our objects because it allows us to see through each object and also see what the digital version looks like. Moving right along, we will be using the hoop feature, which turns our hoop on and off, which will give us these grid lines as you can see as we click on the hoop button. Moving right along, we also have the rulers button. So if you didn't want to see these rulers on the top and left hand side of your design space, you could click this button and it will turn the rulers on or off. But we'll just go ahead and leave those on. Another section we will be using is our object properties right here. We will be going into our sequences. And of course, we do want to have our threads. Now, before we get started into creating any objects, let's go ahead right up here to our hoop button that we just showed you. Let's go ahead and turn our hoop boundaries on. You will notice that once we turn our hoop boundaries on, we do get access to these drop-down tabs right here. And in these drop-down tabs, once you click the arrow, you will see that Wilcom Hatch has a bunch of different embroidery machine options that you could use for your embroidery. So whether you have a baby lock machine all the way to a Janome, to a Foff machine or a Singer, what you will do is you will come in and click on whichever option works for you and your machine. For our machine, we're using the Brother Personas. So we are using the Brother Entrepreneur PR 1000. And with using this option, although it doesn't say Brother Persona or Brother PRS 100 specifically, all the hoops will work the same. Coming over here to this next drop-down tab, this is our hoop list. Once we hit that drop-down, it will show you all the different hoops that are available. And with being in the Brother Entrepreneur PR1000 tab, we do have access to the PRCF3, which is used for doing hats. But let's go back in here. For our Brother PRS100, we're going to use the PRH100, also known as the 100 by 100. Even though it says 100 by 100, it is actually the 4 by 4 inch hoop. And since most of you are absolute beginners, we are assuming that you guys are using some single needle machines that have a max embroidery area of a 4 by 4 inch hoop. But if you have a machine that is larger, definitely go through your different categories and go through your different hoop lists, so that way you can select the best option for your machine. And while we're here with our hoop parameters turned on, if you came right up here to this section, the left 15 degrees or right 15 degrees, this allows you to rotate your hoop. We're not going to be doing much of that, but these options are available for you. Another feature that I would like for you guys to check out is our color options right down here. So with Wilcom Hatch Digitizer, it automatically uploads these different color options that you can use when digitizing your creations. You can always select which color you want to start off with and then do your digitizing. Also, if you wanted to change colors, you can simply select one of the colors here, then come over to the right hand side where it shows all of your color codes, and you can simply change those colors. As you can see, it changed the color right down here. Now, if we ever have any situations where we do something that we don't want to be done, you can always come up here to the undo button, and it will simply undo anything that you have done in Wilcom Hatch Digitizer. As you can see, we undid everything to where it went back to this default color of ivory. Another thing to keep an eye on the right hand side is your width and height. These will automatically update once you start digitizing and creating artwork. Another thing you'll see here is currently it shows empty design, but this will show our thread count for any objects that we create. And then we also got the fabric type. Right now we're using pure cotton, but we can always change this. If we want to change our fabric type from pure cotton to something different, what we'll do is come up here to where it says Design Settings. We will click on Design Settings, and then we will go to Auto Fabric. And then from here, you can see that it shows pure cotton. We can come into this drop down and change it to whatever fabric we would like to use. But for now, I'm just going to keep it as the default pure cotton. So I'm going to hit the cancel button. So if any of you absolute beginners are not seeing object properties, sequence, or the threads charts, what you can do is come up here to where it shows Window, click on Window, then click on Dockers, and right here you will find all of those menus. So if any of those aren't showing, simply click on one and it will appear. If you click on it again, it will disappear. But we will keep all three of these open. Now, without further delay, let's go ahead and get into some digitizing. All right, you beginners. So that is going to wrap it up for our introduction into Wilcom Hatch in regards to opening Wilcom Hatch and navigating through Wilcom Hatch's features. In the next section, we'll be learning how to digitize open shapes. In that lesson, you will learn the difference between left clicks and right clicks in regards to your mouse. You will also learn different aspects of using the Digitize open shape.